Welcome to the yoga method. Your power dynamic flow today will have a little couple spicy bits for us to work on, but bringing again just this sense of joy, playfulness to what we do within our yoga practice. So begin with your feet hip distance apart, closing down the windows of the eyes, bringing the hands to our heart center. And as we breathe into this moment, as we celebrate the gift of this day, choosing a word, setting an intention. In yoga, this is called your sankalpa, and you might set an intention for this hour, perhaps for the entire day, or perhaps for this lifetime. But throughout our practice, keep checking in, keep returning to this idea of your intention, why you are choosing to practice yoga, why you showed up on your mat this morning, and remembering to celebrate ourselves every step of the way as we grow, as we evolve, as we spiral upwards into the highest, grandest, most yogic version of ourselves. Taking one more breath to connect with your intention. And then please separate your hands away from each other, releasing the hands. Well, hello, puppy. And Sky is joining us for our yoga practice. Hello, beautiful girl. All right, we're ready. Inhaling, hands high overhead. Please take your left index finger and thumb to grasp your right wrist before lifting up out of the rib cage and taking a gentle side bend, choosing to look to the earth forwards, wherever your neck feels best. Equal weight, gripping with the feet, energizing the legs, the core, and flooding the breath into the right side body. On your next inhalation, come high before releasing your hands down and around. Inhaling, circle hands high. It is your right index finger and thumb, grasping your left wrist, reaching high and taking that gentle side bend over. Reestablish the connection to your feet. Grip with your toes, lift the arches of your feet. Energize your legs, your pelvic floor, your abdominals as you flood one more deep breath into your left side body. On your in-breath, reach high, and let's just move into a forward fold with the hands on the thighs, the shin, the feet, or the floor. Once you've arrived here safely, take a moment just to sway through the pelvis, just tuning in, checking in to see how your lower back, your hamstrings are feeling today. One more of these gentle sways from side to side, like the trees are probably swaying behind me. And then when you're ready, find your stillness, embrace it, and choose to hold the opposite wrist, elbow, or forearm. And now invite the torso to bring movement. You'll feel what's happening, unfolding in your lower back, in your side body. And please remember to allow your head to release and your shoulders to grow heavy. Take one more gentle sway from side to side with movement before embracing your stillness. Feel the lift of the abdominal wall supporting your lower back and keep coming back to that feeling throughout your entire practice. On your next inhalation, press your hands into your shins or your fingertips into the floor. Bend your knees a lot. Place your hands on your knees and please just take one spinal roll up to standing before sweeping the arms high and releasing the hands to your heart center. Coming to the right end of your mat, or the top of the mat if you're facing me, and we'll use that same arm pattern again. Big toes touching, heels slightly separated. Grip with the feet, energize the core, the legs. A little slight tuck of the tail is needed for some of us, but it'll depend on your posture. Please begin by circling the hands overhead, left index finger and thumb catching the right wrist as we come into a gentle side bend, opening right side body. On your next inhalation, return to the midline, and on the out breath, moving into your forward fold, releasing your head and shoulders last. Our inhale brings lift and length before we step or hop, pausing in high plank, please. Ground your right knee, spin your right shin, and rolling into side plank. Pressing energetically into the outer edge of your left foot. pressing energetically into your right hand to lift upwards through the upper body. Gazing to the floor, to the side, or maybe the top thumb. And this is our variation 1. And as we move through our flow, we never need to do anything more than variation 1. Take one more deep breath in, and in your own time, the exhalation, spot yourself, shift forward on your in-breath, and knees or toes move halfway through chaturanga. We take a baby cobra or an upward facing dog before we lift ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. Please move in this first down dog just a little bit to clear any tension, any cobwebs, any stagnation that you might be feeling in your ankles, your calves, your Achilles. And then targeting once again our hamstrings, our lower back, and feeling the health of your shoulders in this posture. Spread the fingers, spread the toes, but be strong. We want to be long and strong in our yoga practice. Please find your stillness. You're seeking length on the inhalation. You are embodying your strength on your exhalation. And on your next in-breath, let your right leg lift any amount that feels really good to your body today. Eye gaze on your left big toe, pressing energetically into the hands, the arms. And on your next in-breath, lift to the tips of your toe before shifting your right knee towards your right elbow, stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, repeat that lift before bringing your right knee to your nose, to your chest, shifting the weight forward, shoulders stacking. One last time to lift the leg high before releasing the foot to the floor, please. Second side, energizing through the hands and a little extra pressure through the left. Find maximal length, but don't worry about the height. And once again, can you be long and powerful within your body? On your next in-breath, tippy toes before shifting knee to elbow, pause. Inhaling to reach that leg high before bringing the knee to the chest, the knee to the nose, shifting forward. And now reaching high one last time before releasing that foot to the floor. We'll shift forward to high plank. We'll ground through our left knee, spin our left shin, and we'll take side plank on the opposite side, please. So lightness in the hips, real length and strength in your right leg, your right arm. Press into the pinky toe side of your right foot. As you take one more full deep breath in, on the exhalation, spot your landing. Return to your plank, lifting your hips high for one breath. Come to the tips of the toes as you breathe in. On your exhalation, bend your knees, looking at the top of your mat, stepping or hopping, lifting and lengthening with the in-breath. Exhale, forward fold. Rise and reach all the way up to your extended mountain before releasing your hands to Samastitihi. Inhaling high, your right thumb and index finger ready to capture the left wrist. Exhaling into a side body bend. Inhaling to return to the midline, neutral spine, straight and strong. Exhaling into your forward fold, releasing your head and shoulders last. On the in-breath, lift your heads, lift your hearts before stepping or hopping, pausing, and moving into variation 2 of your side plank. So option 1, knees on the ground. Variation 2, stacking shoulder, elbow, and wrist, and only looking skywards if the neck will allow. Hips light, core strong, breath deep. One more breath in, and on your exhalation, spot your landing. Inhale to shift forward. Exhale, elbows bend. We only come to a 90-degree elbow bend for the health of our shoulders. And then as we lift, we broaden the collarbones and energize back body before taking ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. On your in-breath, your right leg is rising. On your exhalation, right knee, right elbow, pause. On the inhalation, take that leg high again. Knee to nose, knee to chest, pause, and then stepping the foot through before landing your left knee. Stack your shoulders above your hips, and then begin to shift forward so you feel your hip flexors beginning to open. And once you've arrived here safely, fingers long, and please open towards me. So it's your left arm traveling backwards, and you're pausing just to find a little bit of rotation through the spine and a little hip opening through your left hip flexor. Take a moment to take a supported back bend with your hand resting on your hip, your hamstring, or the crease of your knee. Lifting through Mula Bandha pelvic floor, engaging deliberately through the abdominals and your left glutes. One more full deep breath in. On your exhalation, please frame your foot, lift your knee, slide to high plank before turning into second side plank. Variation 1 on your knee, variation 2, that split stance. Helium balloons, lift your hips. You're stacking shoulder, wrist, and ankle. Try that again, shoulder, elbow, and wrist. As you take one more full deep breath in, on the exhalation, spot your landing, ground yourself into plank. Inhale, shift forward, elbows tight to the body, eye gaze forward. Energize and open into cobra or upward facing dog before lifting up and back, downward facing dog. On your in-breath, left leg is rising. On your exhalation, knee to elbow, pause. Inhale, lifting as only as high as it feels good to your body. Before bringing knee to chest, pause, stepping the foot between the hands and grounding right knee as you stack shoulders over hips and reach your arms forward. Please check the alignment of the hip and the knee and that the weight is in the heel as you begin to open torso towards the side as we continue to descend the hips forward. So a little rotation through the spine and a little hip opening through that left hip flexor. Energize pelvic floor, core, right glute, and then flip the palm on your left hand, catch the hip, catch the hamstring, or the crease of your knee. Please maintain your strength and your stability as you explore your flexibility. Taking 2 more breaths in. One more full deep breath in. And on the exhalation, we windmill the arms, we'll frame the foot, lift the back knee before stepping to the top of the mat. Breath in, exhaling, let it all go. Rising and reaching to your extended mountain, be strong through the whole body before releasing hands to our home space of Samastitihi. Building our flow, energize, reaching high. Left index finger and thumb catching the right wrist. Exhaling into your lateral flexion. Inhale to return to your midline straight and strong. Easing your way into your forward fold, please. On your in-breath, lift, lengthen, shine the light of heart forward before stepping, hopping, and freezing. We're pivoting to side plank a third time, stacking shoulder, elbow, wrist. Variation 1 on your knee. Variation 2, split stance. And variation 3, stacking your feet. Excuse me, Sky. Not very ladylike. Once you've arrived safely, choosing your option so that it feels therapeutic and delightful in your body. Taking 1 more full breath in. And on the exhalation, spot your landing. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, the health of our shoulders, so important, come only halfway. And then either flip the toes or slide, moving to cobra or baby cobra before lifting ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg is rising on our in-breath, lift as high as it feels good. On the exhalation, knee to elbow, pause. Inhale, come as high as you wish. Challenge but in control before drawing knee to chest, pausing, landing the foot between the hands. Round 2, Anjani Asana. We'll leave the knee hovering off the floor, but find your alignment first before you begin to open with your left hand. So stretching dynamically across the space of the heart, tucking tailbone, energizing the stabilizers. Staying and breathing for one more deep breath. On your next inhalation, begin to extend beyond the front knee and straighten your back leg, please. So heart open to the side, knee is stacking over ankle, and you'll land your elbow, take your ankle, or find the floor as you send your left arm high. Bend into your right knee to deepen into the posture, but keep charging your back leg, energizing it, and stay with your breath for 2 more breaths, please. One more full deep breath in. On the exhalation, looking down if you're not already there. On our inhalation, we'll take an Anjani sun posture. So a sun Anjani asana, we'll call this. Stay here for a moment, exploring the depth in the front knee, the length in the back leg, and the extension of your spine. And when you're ready, just windmill your arms towards the top of your mat. Take your hands slightly forward and come into a supported warrior 3. Press the heel away, lift the heart, so maintaining length through the spine as you energetically press your top heel away. Just one more full deep breath in before exhaling to release the foot, the head, the heart, the effort. Inhale, flat back extension. Exhale into one more forward fold before rising and shining, touching the ceiling, reaching for the sky. Hands home to Samastitihi. Inhaling, circle and sweep. So catching your left wrist with your right index finger and thumb. The exhalation takes you into side bend. Inhalation, come home. Exhale, skydiving in, cascading the spine forward. Inhale, we lift, we lengthen, we look forward before stepping or hopping, freezing, and pivoting to option 1 on our knee, option 2, split stance, and variation 3, stacking the feet. Feel the lightness of the hips, the strength of your left shoulder, the strength of your core. Whole body working together. Taking one more full, deep, glorious breath in. And on your exhalation, spot your landing. Inhale, shift forward. 90-degree elbow bend. Head of the shoulders stay lifted. Slide or flip as we rise and broaden the collarbones. Lifting our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Left leg is rising. Let it lift. On the exhalation, shifting forward, pausing. Inhaling once again, finding lightness before drawing knee to nose, pause, landing the foot and bending the back knee. Steady yourself as you rise to your Anjani asana, hip and knee check, finding the stability through the core and the pelvis before we begin to reach the right arm away. Steady your eyes on a fixed point. Feel internally what's unfolding through the abdominals, through your right glutes. And now letting the breath in for 2 more breaths. One more full, deep, dynamic breath in and out. Ready? We're lengthening over top of the front leg. You could do that if you're on your knee. It's the same posture. Or back leg extended. We're checking the alignment of the front hip and knee and our knee right on our ankle before we land the elbow. Take the ankle or find the floor. Reach high with your right hand if your shoulder will allow. If the shoulder's not happy, just pop the hand to the hip instead. And then begin to bend a little bit more deeply into your left knee as you charge your right leg long. Please stay for 2 more breaths. Modify, rest anytime you need. 1 more breath. And then we're taking that Sun Anjani asana. So rising on your inhalation, securing your right hand on your hip, your hamstring, or the crease of your knee, lifting through the front hip, opening through the front body. Stay and breathe for 2 more breaths, please. Where will these last 2 breaths take you? One more full breath before windmilling the arms. Reach for the top of the mat, go beyond the foot, shift the weight forward, and find yourself in a supported warrior Virabhadrasana 3. Shoulders, wrist stacking, hip, knee, and ankle stacking on the standing leg, and pressing dynamically through the right heel as we endeavor to level our pelvis. One more full breath in before gently releasing the foot, releasing your head, and releasing your efforts. Rise and reach to that extended mountain, hands circling down and around to Samastitihi. This is our last round. In it together till the end. We circle, we sweep. Left thumb and index finger capture the right wrist. Inhale, and then exhaling, side body opening. We'll return on the inhalation to find maximal length before easing our way in. Forward fold, belly strong. Inhale, how long can you make your arms, your legs, your spine before stepping, hopping, and freezing. Transitioning to side plank. Option 1 on your knee. Option 2, split. Option 3, stack. And option 4, maybe lifting through that top leg a little or a lot. Last 2 breaths wherever you are, it's perfect. One more full, deep, brave breath in before releasing the foot, releasing the hand. The inhalation shifts us forward to the tips of our toes. The exhalation we lower with strength and control. Opening, expanding, releasing up and back, downward facing dog. Your inhalation finds your right leg rising, the perfect amount for you. The exhalation, you move right knee to right elbow. Pause. We inhale, we lift, we lengthen. Before we transition knee to chest, pause, stepping the foot through. Bend the knee, stabilize. Remember, you can be grounded or elevated, but then we're all opening through the left arm, staying strong, staying focused. Before we begin to lengthen the back leg, if you're kneeling, it looks the same. Landing the elbow, taking the ankle or the floor, sending our left hand high as we bend a little bit more deeply into our right knee. Gripping with the 4 corners of the right foot, powering into the back leg. Just take one more full breath, please. Listen, your right hand is going to step forward to the pinky toe side of your right foot. And you're testing the water, seeing if you could do a floating half moon, which might look like this for option 1. Option 2, just a tiny lift. And variation 3, how far do you want to take that posture? Opening through the heart, turning the pelvis towards me. Flexing, dorsiflexing through your left foot as you energize and open for one more full breath in. And on the exhalation, please ground your left hand, but leave your left leg elevated. Option to stay here as we did in the last round, or to bend the knee and see if your right hand might find your left foot. And then begin to kick the foot into the hand. Spine is long, heart is lifted, belly is strong, breath is deep. Stay for 2 breaths. One more full deep breath in. And on the exhalation, finding your maximal length, releasing the foot, releasing your head, releasing the effort before rising. Inhale, flat back extension. Exhale, one more lovely forward fold before rising all the way up, extended mountain. Circling hands to Samastitihi. This is it. Inhaling up. It is your left hand, right hand finding your left wrist, index finger and thumb. Easing over into our side bend on the out breath before the in breath returns us home to the midline. Exhale, easing your way into your forward fold. Inhale, lift, lengthen, look forward before stepping or hopping, freezing one last time in your side plank. Variation 1 on your knee. Variation 2, split stance. Variation 3, stack the feet. And variation 4, lift through the top leg, lifting through the pelvis, staying for 2 breaths, please. Shaky bodies are good things. One more breath before landing. Shifting forward on the in-breath. Strong, straight, energized through the whole body. And then expansion through front body. Strength in back body. And lifting ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. Left leg is rising when you are ready. On the out breath, shift forward, knee, elbow meet. Inhale, last time. Before bringing knee to nose, knee to chest, pause, grounding the foot, grounding the back knee, or elevating it once again. When you are ready, opening through the right arm, feel your internal stability and strength, and only when the time is right for you, extending the back leg as you extend the front body over the front leg, and then choosing to land the elbow, take the ankle, or find the floor as you send your right arm high. Is your left knee right above your ankle? Do you feel long and powerful through your right back leg? Could you stay for 2 more breaths, please? One more full deep breath in before you begin to explore whether you could take your pinky finger, pardon me, your hand to the pinky toe side of your left foot. Begin to play with shifting weight, deciding whether or not you want to keep the foot on the floor, or would it feel safe for you to begin to lift a little or explore the edge of this posture. Our edges will look different for each and every person, and we explore the edge in our yoga practice so we can feel how good it feels to come back to our center. When you're ready, grounding through your right hand, leveling through the pelvis, keep the head and heart lifted. Option to stay here, or bending into your right knee, searching for that foot with your left hand. And once we find it, kick energetically the foot into the hand while maintaining the lightness, the lift of the heart, and the length of your spine. Strength, stability, flexibility, focus, determination. One more breath before gently releasing whatever option you took. The foot grounds, the head bows. We release the effort. One inhalation to lift head and heart. One exhalation to forward fold. Rise and reach. Take a celebratory mountain pose in extension. Before returning your hands to your hearts, Samastitihi. Circle and sweep, just a normal rise up. On the exhalation, easing your way into your forward fold. We lift the head, we lift the heart before we step or hop, transitioning through a Chaturanga Dandasana. We energize and open into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And we exhale up and back, Adha Mukha Svanasana. Right leg is rising, but only ever so briefly to transition to pigeon pose, please. Remember, 90-90 is pigeon. Sitting on the hip with a long leg is absolutely pigeon. And then please roll yourself up and over into full pigeon if your body will allow. Once you're there, take a moment to tuck the toe, energize the back leg, lift through the heart, and then release the knee, release the toe. Place your left hand a little further forward, and please just slide yourself into rotation. So right palm to the ceiling. Laying the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and the head low. Option to reach high with your left hand. Flip the thumb. Bring it into the curve of the back or the crease of your hip. Stay and breathe for 3 deep breaths, please. So we explore the edge by finding these postures that challenge ourselves. And then as we move into this part of our practice, we more fully embody our center. When you're ready, the inhalation, you'll send the hand high. If you took a half bind, you'll ground the hand and unwind yourselves to lift up for just a moment. Take a seat onto your right hip. Bring your back leg around, and I'd like for you to ground your left foot just in front of your right shin. We'll lift and lengthen for option 1. And variation 2, you'll hug the knee towards the chest, using your left hand like a second spine. I want you to press really energetically into your back hand and your left foot to find the lift and the length before seeking rotation. If it feels good, 2 more breaths. Inhaling lightness and length. Exhaling just that tiny little bit more rotation. 1 more time. On your inhalation, your eyes return. On the exhalation, release your twist and interlace your fingers. Lift the toes and see if you can cup the foot for just a moment. Variation 1, the heel will come off the ground and we'll just focus on good posture. Variation 2, you'll begin to explore any amount that your hamstring will allow. Posture is more important, so please don't sacrifice your posture for lifting your leg higher. We want to really deliberately maintain neutral spine, stability of our core, and then the rest just happens on top of that foundation. Please set your eye gaze on your big toe regardless of where you are, and staying for 1 more full, deep, beautiful breath in before gently releasing the knee and releasing the foot. Please come to Sukhasana with your left leg in front of your right. And I'll need to move my microphone briefly before we come into this next posture. So variation 1, left foot in front of the right, and you're taking just a waiting vinyasa, we'll call this. Variation 2, you'll pick up your knees, you'll pick up your feet, and you'll take your fingertips to point to the floor as you find the pinky toe side of your feet. I'd like for you to tuck your chin and then really draw your knees back in, draw your feet in. So a little bit of spinal flexion, a little bit of a neural stretch for our spinal column. Flooding breath into back body for 2 more. So you're using your core, but at the same time we're into a little bit of flexion. 1 more breath. And when you're ready, please lift your head and heart as you release your feet. We're coming over top of the knees, if that's possible, or just swing them around. Taking a full vinyasa by exhaling through chaturanga. Moving into baby cobra or up dog before we lift ourselves up and back down dog. Your left leg is rising just really briefly before we transition to pigeon pose on the second side. So making the adjustments, 90-90, stay on the hip or up and over we go. Take a moment to tuck the toes, energize and open before releasing knee, releasing foot, releasing effort, coming down. The moment you've arrived, right hand grounds just towards the top of the mat, threading your left arm through with the palm towards the ceiling, releasing the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and the head. Right hand can stay as it is, or looping it into the curve of your lower back, or the crease of your hip. The only question to keep coming back to is, does this feel good to my body? So play with your edge, but most importantly, every stretch should be comfortably uncomfortable. We need to be able to relax, release, and breathe into the sensation the stretch is offering. On your next in-breath, please reach high if you took your half bind, grounding into the right hand, lifting as we press into the left hand, a seat on your left cheek as you bring your right leg around, stepping it just in front of the shin. Press firmly into the 4 corners of the right foot, hugging your knee with your left arm, and then pressing strongly into the right hand, rechecking the pressure through the right foot, Spiraling to gently look over our right shoulder. The inhalation, buoyancy. The exhalation, tapping into the strength of our arms, our core. Last 2 breaths. One more full deep breath, please. Before your inhalation returns your eyes, your exhalation, you'll release your twist. Interlace your fingers. Capture the sole of your foot. Variation 1, we sit tall and the heel just floats. Nothing else needs to occur. This is perfect. Variation 2, you might lift so that the shin is parallel to the ceiling. And variation 3, as long as we're not becoming a turtle, a tortoise, we're going to lengthen as far as the hamstring will allow. Use the strength of the arms, use the strength of your core to keep lifting and lengthening through your spine as you explore that last little bit of range of motion that your hamstring will offer. Setting your eye gaze on your big toe, relaxing your shoulders, your faces, as we take one more full deep breath in. And on your exhalation, please gently retrace your steps before releasing that foot into Sukhasana. So this final option, once again, hands resting on thighs. Variation 2, we're picking up the knees, we're picking up the feet, and we're holding onto the pinky toe side. I want you to tuck your chin, keep the knees tight to the shoulders. Please feel free to stay here, or it's about to get messy. We're going to inhale back and exhale to roll up. See if you can stick your landing. Inhaling, exhaling, pause. Just do 2 more. A little exhale, feel a little bit like Humpty Dumpty. One more time, the exhalation. Rise, pause, and hold before releasing. Take both legs out long. A celebratory breath in before exhaling into Paschimottanasana. Bend your knees as much as you need so you can still maintain the length of the spine and the lift of your heart. And over time, if it feels like there's more room to play with, we just begin to lengthen the legs a little bit at a time. We never need to fully straighten the legs. Wherever you are, lift on your inhalation to get a little longer through your spine. And on your exhalation, we're softening somewhere, but at the same time, we're still maintaining this engagement of pelvic floor and a little bit of tone in the abdominals to support our spines. So strength and length is what we're trying to cultivate with our yoga practice. Long, weak muscles are a recipe for disaster. And short, strong muscles are also not what we're wanting. We want to be long, flexible, and we also want to have great strength and stability. They're a recipe for longevity. One more deep breath. And on your in-breath, lift your heads, your hearts, before we sit tall. Gather the knees, roll yourself all the way down onto your back, please. Hug your knees as soon as you get there. We'll come briefly into our bridge. We always want to make sure we're doing a back bend. If wheel pose is part of your practice, this is where you'll do it. But let's all begin in bridge with the feet hip distance apart, slightly wider if you're going into your wheel. A little touch of the heels with your peace fingers to make sure your heels are equal. And then engaging pelvic floor, lower abdominals as we tuck the tailbone and lift into our bridge. If you're going into wheel, your hands will come right by your head. And if we're moving into this variation of bridge, we'll interlace our fingers, walk our shoulders in, and then just see if you can bring all the weight to your right foot as you pick up through your left knee. Send your left leg high, take 2 breaths. Stamping down into the 4 corners of the right foot, working hamstrings and glutes before bending the knee, replacing the foot. Lift the pelvis again, shift the weight to the left, right knee to chest. We can stay bent, we can lengthen, but tapping into your strength through your left leg as you lengthen through your right. 2 breaths. One more full deep breath in And on the exhalation, knee to chest, release the feet, release the hands, roll your way down, one vertebra at a time. Gather your knees to your hearts, please. Separate the knees and come into your version of happy baby pose. Finding just the moment of stillness with the ankles stacking over the knees stacking over top of the pelvis. And then inviting gentle movement in only if it feels wonderful to your body. Please feel free to stay right here. If shoulder stands is part of your practice, you'll grip with the floor, you'll catch the pelvis, you'll walk your elbows in, fingers pointing straight up towards the feet. Feet are stacking over the knees, knees over the hips. And in this position, there's no weight in the head. Well, there's a little bit of weight, but the neck is still free because I'm pressing really deliberately into my elbows and my shoulders rather than dumping the weight into the neck. Energizing the legs, point the toes or floint the toes, whatever you prefer. And then could you begin to play with keeping your left leg stationary and just seeing if it's possible to find the earth with your right toes. So reconnect with your elbows, your shoulders. Make sure the neck still feels light. Energize through your legs, through your core. Take one more full breath in and out. On the inhalation, your right leg will retrace its steps. And on your next exhalation, possibly moving left foot as far as your body will allow. It doesn't need to ever reach the floor. Reestablish the pressure through the elbows, the shoulders. Re-establish the connection to your core and your breath. One more full, deep breath in and out. On the in-breath, both legs rise. On the exhalation, both feet come overhead, but let's separate the feet and just take it as far as it feels safe and available for your body. Hands can remain on the back. Hands could find the floor if the feet have found the floor. But keep your legs powerful. Keep pressing through your hands, your shoulders, so you feel the aliveness between the shoulder blades. Just take one more breath here in this wide leg pose before bringing your feet together. And now sliding down. Keep the legs as close to your face as you possibly can, using the core to control your descent, one vertebra at a time. You could come down with straight legs, but only if your back will allow, and that will be determined by your core strength. And once you've arrived there safely, bend your knees, lift your pelvis, tuck your hands right underneath. She's had enough of her yoga practice. Must be time for breakfast. Variation 1, strong body, elbows tight, shoulders engaged. Variation 2, lift your head. I'm a little bit crooked. Variation 3, hearts lift. Variation 4, heads release. Variation 5, feet pick up. So find the right stepping stone for you today. It doesn't matter. Nothing is static about us. Everything is dynamic about us. So day to day, our practice changes because our body changes. One more breath before gently releasing the head, releasing the feet, and please just land with your legs long. Claim a little bit of space with your hands, with your feet. As you settle into stillness, please. Just one breath before gently bending your knees. Gather the knees to your hearts. I always love ending with a twist, so I hope you don't mind. We're going to ground the feet. Open your wings into a cactus arm position. Shift the pelvis slightly to your left and cross your left leg over as your knees travel to your right. You could bring your right hand to your right thigh as you move into external rotation through your left shoulder. And then only if your neck allows, we can turn the neck into rotation by turning to look to your left. Flooding the breath into left side body for 2 more breaths. What was your sankalpa? What was your intention for your practice, for this day, for this life? Please return your eyes when you're ready, and using your core strength to bring you back up to the middle, reclaim your cactus arms, shift the weight slightly to the right, right leg over, gently, mindfully exploring rotation to the left, left hand resting on right thigh, right arm continues to explore external rotation through the shoulder joint. And then cervical rotation by turning to gaze to your right. How deeply can you breathe? Does this feel good to your body? As we take 2 more breaths. One more. Your eyes will return to the ceiling. You'll engage your core. You'll gently return to the center. Center the pelvis, uncross the legs, and please gather the knees to your chest once more. A gentle rock from side to side before releasing your feet, taking any final postures that you need, or coming into your final posture of Shavasana. The quickest way to calm the mind is to move the body. And as we arrive here in Shavasana, I encourage you to silently, internally repeat your intention 3 times. Silently, internally affirming your intention 3 times. And with our intention clearly established, we've answered that burning eternal question. What will I do with this one wild and precious life? We set our intention, and moment by moment, we keep coming back to the wisdom in that intention, showing up as best as we can, never perfectly, but showing up, living in integrity with that intention, becoming vessels of light, of love, of goodness, of virtue, one moment at a time, one interaction at a time. Just take 2 more breaths where you are. And beautiful yogis, if the time will allow, please stay in Shavasana for as long as you wish. If you, as I, need to return to my day, let's begin by deepening the breath, expanding our awareness, lifting our vibration, lifting our energy, and inviting gentle, mindful movement back into the body, fingers, toes, hands and feet, shoulders, necks. And if your shoulders will allow, take a full body yawn from fingertip to toe. Dynamically emphasize stretching your right side body, and then shift and really dynamically focus on lengthening left side body. Equalize, center, return to your balanced position before bending the knees, sliding the arms down, gathering the knees to the chest. Hug yourselves really tightly, lovingly. Rock your bodies gently. And then rolling onto the right hand side of your body, lingering for a single breath before pressing the earth away, coming up into any seated position that feels comfortable for your body. Eyes remaining closed, breath remaining deep as we find the lift and the length of our spine with our hands resting in Anjali Mudra. Reconnect with your intention one last time and then send a silent Om out into the world, sending out your blessings, your hopes, your prayers. Taking one last deep breath in together and closing our practice with a bow. Namaste.